Hello and welcome to my studio. I'm going to be doing some work in Ruth's journal today. And I am so happy to be here now doing this because the day has started off, well, any of us who've done art know. I thought maybe I would transfer some blue ink to a little spray atomizer to use in the journal, and when I opened it, out popped half of the ink all down into the sink, and I thought, oh good, stainless steel. So I got paper toweling and a bottle of alcohol and rubber gloves, and it's incredible how that hides in stainless steel. But that got cleaned up. I took a deep breath and decided to treat myself to a video, which I did. And then when I was setting up to do this, I managed to sweep the card for my camera, which is probably about the size of that on my nail, into this big garbage can. So, flashlight in hand, garbage can between legs, I went through the garbage. I found it, not too far down, thank goodness. So, I decided, well, Carol, either you're going to go into your closet with a good book and a flashlight and let the world go by, or let's work in Ruth's journal. So, all of you, please keep your fingers crossed that I don't make any calamities here. As you can see, I have been prepping in Ruth's journal. I have added some gold to the front and back of the cover of this first signature, and since this is totally my art, I signed and dated it, and then I decided to go on the way I had been in my Christmas journal. I decided to use a favorite stencil on the inside of it, and I added some Edith Walholden, a page, as a cover spot. And so I did the cover, and then in this one I used a stencil and front and back, but of course I did not sign that because I did use a stencil. But on the inside I used some more of that page that was here as a pocket, and some stenciling. So I thought, while I had that done, I was starting to feel pretty tickled about the progress, and I said, well, let me see about going and using my Distress chipped sapphire on these pages. Well, there are a lot of pages, so that was quite a job. I also looked at the back of some of the pages and decided that they needed to be covered with another sheet of paper. So in this one, I did a piece of my art and cut that down. So here we have that one, and I started a little bit on the back of some of the sheets to give Ruth some place to write, and this ultramarine StazOn turned out to be quite nice. Well, the back of these bird images were calendar pages, so I covered those. And as you can see, the back of this was writing and would not be pretty in the calendar, so I covered that. And you have the idea. I just kind of went through and took care of the edges so that I would not forget them. I made sure that I did both sides. And on the inside of this, I glued a page, and so forth. So that's that job is done. That kind of makes me happy. Now this is very similar. I put a piece of collage of koi on the back of this page and the back of the birds and the back of this inclusion, and so forth and so on. And there are many, many pages here, and I'm going to have so much fun working in this journal. I kind of have some plans for the centerpiece of Canson watercolor paper and the vellum. So I'm going to set these aside, hopefully out of harm's way. That means away from me. And yesterday I also made some goodies. And living and learning, I had, this was my painty paper, and I did not realize, but I certainly do now, that often the flap of the envelope, the glue sticks because it becomes damp. So I decided to make a pocket out of this, and after it was finished, I opened it so that I can put things in here. So both of these are ready to go. This is signed because this is a piece of my watercolor. And I made a couple of pockets, and I used the tulip glitter, dimensional fabric, crystal sparkles glitter, and it is just delightful, and it just adds such a nice little bit on these pockets. And then I had this piece, which was my art, and this was what was left of it, so I put it back on here, and this will be a tag. Here is a journaling spot, a little pad, a tag in a vellum pocket with some, oh my goodness, that's another thing that I was going to make sure that I got. I have some of these beautiful blue stickers left, and I'm going to get those to add to the pile. I had these two blue envelopes, so I made journaling spots for the inside. Ruth did ask to have places to write, so I'm keeping that in mind. This one has a piece of heavy weight cardstock and two tags that I made. I'm thinking that I'm probably going to do better with the ties on there, and I made writing spots there, and that's where I find myself now. So these are going to go on the pile with the signatures, and you can translate that as away from me. And so I found some things that I thought I would work on. I've had this for ages and ages. This is from a museum catalog, and I thought this would look very, very pretty, rather different. I'm thinking I might just trim this on the sides a little bit and turn it into a tag. I have this tag. This might be a nice, yes, that might be very nice. But oh, and I also took time to find some bits that I might want to add. 2 napkins that had some blue, and I found some bits of lace and some greenery and some of the last of my collection of mid-century millinery flowers, the velvet flowers, and this little bit. This came off a hat that I pulled apart. And what else is down here? Oh, this piece of prettiness that I just thought would be very pretty in the journal, and some bits of lace and some corners and so forth. So there we go. That's ready. Now, while I'm thinking of it, I want to turn this into a tag. Well, alrighty, let's see. How about right there and right there? Mission accomplished, I hope. Yes. And here, this paper just absolutely feels like the finest silk satin. It's just beautiful paper. I'm going to keep these little bits because they feel so good. And up here, this to be a little bit deeper. So very pretty. Now this and this are going to need lines on the back, and now this is ready for some decoration, and these two I'm going to put here to remind me that they are here, and this is ready also. Thinking I'm going to do this. These, and I thought, well, let me look in the blue file here. Let me see, maybe there's something in there. Well, that sweet file came up with all of these bits that would do so nicely as collage, and it's definitely about time. Oh my, my, my. It's definitely about time for me to use them. And inside of that, This is so new to me, and so, well, it's kind of gets to be, well, those of you who do it know it kind of gets to be all-consuming, but in a good way. So this is going to be here, and maybe a maybe this here. That there. That will give her some place to write. Okay, I have that settled in my mind now. I know what's happening there. I need writing places on the back of those. Those need to be glued. Let's see what else we can find. Oh, I just like that. Yes, I do. Or this one. Yes, I'm there. The color. Let's see if I can't find something here. That folder is an absolute treasure trove. Okay. I think I'm going to keep the entire thing. I'm sorry, I must go out a bit more so that you don't have to listen to me mumble and then not see. I apologize. I have no excuse because I've got a whole screen up here in which I can see everything on my desk all the time. Yes. And something else, but this is good for start on there. And this one, but I think I'm going to take that off. I'm seeming to be liking these softened corners today. Maybe it has something to do with the sink full of blue ink. All right, now something else can happen there. That's cool. Yes. Whoa. Get ahead of yourself, Carol. I'm wondering if that isn't full. Could be. That's much better. Now, So that gets glued down there, but I think I want something underneath there. Yes. Definitely a start. This is such a pretty shade of blue. What can I put on the back of that? Oh, wouldn't that be pretty? Wouldn't that be pretty? Yes. And here, and here. Oh my. This is getting to be, this is starting to happen. And I'm so tickled. Let's see. There we go. Yes. And a writing spot, a journaling spot. Very good. There are many goodies in this bag. Let me have a closer look. And a closer look up here. From my Thurber. Lavender with a difference. All right now. That needs to be properly cut. paper is so soft that when you cut it, it becomes fuzzy on the side. But I'm going to keep all of that because that is a pretty one. Now, oh, that's right, these two are going to have to be, have to find a place for these. Put them over on the lamp. Well, oh my, treasures, treasures. That's a very good thing. Cover the back. There will certainly be a place for writing. Now, I don't know how I'm going to use this, but I certainly am. Ready to go. Now let's make sure that this makes some sense here. This has to be straightened out. And halfway between both. And almost touching the top again. Backer. Okay, so this side has to be very close. And top. Make a tag out of this. And bottom. If you were able to hear airplanes overhead, every few months the Navy does some practicing for one day, maybe two, but usually not two, at a nearby base for landings and takeoffs at on aircraft carriers. But they start after 8 in the morning and they quit for lunch for an hour, and then they're usually finished by about 4. So that works out. Alrighty, now, all of these things, you certainly, I'm going to set these puppies aside because I can't stop looking at them. Okay, I'm going to do gluing and distressing and so forth on these, and I'll be back. Well, I have been playing away and kind of lost track of time, but I have been working, as you can see, on these pretties that I'm going to be adding to Ruth's journal. And right now I'm going to be using a Viva Perlen, P-E-R-L-E-N pen, and this color is ice white. In other words, it looks like pearls. These drops that you will see develop here take a while to dry, but they are well worth it. If you really, really let them sit for 24 hours or so, they maintain their pearl-like effect just beautifully. And this piece just seemed to call for it. Okay, let me show you that. Let's see. It is just, I have this in black and gold and this ice white. I believe that I've seen them most often in Joanne Fabrics, but I'm sure they are in other places as well. And I've had them for a long time. I don't use them often, but every time I'm ready to, they are ready for me. It's just wonderful. No issues with this fine little point. To get up and go across and put this on my other table so that it will not be disturbed. And I'm going to leave this pen out so that I can remember to use it in other places. It might look very nice in the middle of one of these blue paper flowers. All right, where was I next? Ah, yes, the other envelope. And here's my blue Le Pen. I want to it always is best in a situation like this to do it twice, so that you can be sure that it doesn't look like that you made an error. I might be coming back to this, but and then again, maybe not. So that's another one. And I do believe that I am about finished with today's pretties. It has been absolute fun, and I must get back to the signatures themselves, because there are a lot of pages that need my attention, and I cannot wait to do that. Let's see now what we have here. We have this pocket. This piece, I'm not sure how I'm going to deal with that yet, but it's ready for me. And here is lavender with a difference, with some writing area on the back and some more for me to probably, I think I might add some stenciling or stamps to this. These two journaling spots, and Ruth can write on the back also. The other envelope, I have added a little Le Pen to this one, and a little bit of lace. And here's the card and envelope. And I added some of the pinkish dyed cheesecloth. And there it is. I might turn this into a tag or not. I have no idea. Here is the this piece, and I added a place for journaling to the back. And this tag, made sure that I remember to put the blue side up. I collaged on this piece, and then added this from my my bin of lace and ribbon and goodies. So, I do hope that you have enjoyed today's play, and that if you have, you will consider giving me a thumbs up, leave a comment, share with a friend, and I would appreciate your subscribing to my channel. So let's have a close look-see. I believe I got these at Hobby Lobby. And this pretty note card. And Thurber. Bye now.